What's up? What's up? You ready for this, man?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, I appreciate everybody joining me today. I got a good friend, somebody I've known for a long, long time, somebody that I respect in the business world, and from afar, you know, a girl dad that's become the cool hashtag that I respect. But just beyond a businessman, a genuine man. And a father, so that's what's up. So without further ado, I want to introduce Eric Armstrong. Eric, man, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of different ways we're going to take this conversation. But for those people who may not know you from my side of the network, kind of explain a little bit about yourself. And obviously, I'm gonna get deep. I'm gonna ask some deeper questions, but you can share what you don't want to be pulled out of you right now.
That's funny. So my name is obviously Eric Armstrong. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm an entrepreneur, so I have a few e-commerce stores. I have a salon, and I have 2 real estate companies. So I invest in real estate on the commercial and residential side. I've been doing that for 5 years. I've been in e-commerce for about 8 years as well. But my entrepreneur journey obviously started DJing when I was younger. I started DJing at the age of 14. So I've kind of been navigating the entrepreneurial path since then.
Nice. So at the age of 14, like, where were you DJing at? That's a hustle for you. I mean, to get into some of that stuff. The crazy thing is, like, back then, if you said at 14 years old, man, I was a DJ, back then in the early 2000s, late 90s, that mid 90s, that was unheard of. Now today, there's so many different platforms that we didn't even have. So when you say DJ, you DJ.
Yeah, I'm a turntablist. You got a room full of records. You got the Chronic, Scarface, everything, the Biggie, all of that, man. Making cassette tapes, actually making mixtapes. As far as where I DJ, I actually DJed at J Doug's house. We was just having house parties, man, back then when I was a freshman. Well, I was 8th grader then, but when I became a freshman in high school, that's kind of like where we partied at, man.
Nice. So Jay Douglas, a bunch of high school friends. Man, high school goes way back. When I was in high school, and a lot of what we're going to get into, obviously, is where we come from to where we are now. I remember, my 6th grade teacher who really changed my life and kind of got me from being a knucklehead, although I tapped on that door of class clown. I got a little popularity, a little acceptance, but I was still searching for my identity. Going from junior high even to high school, it wasn't until my sophomore year where I realized a little bit about myself and what I really thought at the time I wanted to pursue. So DJing and getting into that craft, at what point did you feel like that was a true business? Like now we can say, man, that was an entrepreneurship, that was a business mindset. When did it become structure? Like it was real to you, it was more than just having a little fun, with the friends at a house. It became a business mindset for you. What was that transition like for you?
It was my freshman year in college. So my freshman year in college, I got injured. So I was running track, but I got injured. Therefore, I was a little bit depressed about the situation. So I would actually, have to take time to rehab and heal. And so I wasn't going to practice. I was just going to the trainer and then going back to my dorm. So I actually, what was a hobby actually became, a job, because what happened was I was really working on my craft a lot. And before you knew it, a lot of people would ask me to DJ. And then I had a lot of peers that went to Ball State, IU, Indiana State. So when they became frat, they were just like, part of frats, they just reached out. And then the words got around. And before you know it, I was DJing 3 to 4 nights a week consistently. So that's kind of like when it got structured, when I actually had to like start booking things and organizing my schedule and preparing. And then from there, weddings came along, around the age of 25. And therefore, like, that became more organized. They gave me structure. I had to prepare differently as each wedding is different, depending on the genre of music. So I would say that those were the pivotal points.
Yeah. So I like to get personal real quick. Before I can understand why you do, like, I want to understand why you do what you do, right? And I remember this video of this comedian, and he got real serious, and he had a guy who can sing in an audience, so he gave him a mic and he told the guy to sing any song, and the guy sung it. It was good. You could tell he had a little something, a little bit more that he can do with it, but he wasn't tone deaf. He hit it. And then the guy, the comedian, said, "You know what? This is what I want you to do. I want you to sing this song like you lost somebody, or you went through hell and you came out of it." Right? And so then he had a why to why he was singing it versus just singing it and not looking foolish. And the passion was a little bit different. When we have our why, and that's when I say our why, what we do is business. You have her hair company, you have real estate company, an investment group. That's what you do. Why you do it is the passion behind it, and that's part of your story. So what led you to getting your life in order or getting things intact to where you realize, man, I'm more than what I am today, and I got to get this stuff together?
So I was an insurance agent for American Family from 2004 to 2008. Obviously, 2008 is when the recession came. I DJ'd, but it was just part-time, 2 nights a week. So greed led me here. So basically, I made some bad decisions. I got involved with the wrong people, and a few months later, I got robbed. I got set up. So it was crazy. I got kidnapped, taken back to my home, and some things happened. So that was extremely scary. My daughters weren't with me at the time, but at that time, I realized that my why at that moment was money, and that's why I was doing what I was doing, for more money. So when I reflected on my true why, I basically had to prioritize what's important to me. And at that time was family, it was time, it was freedom. So when I say freedom, no, it's not meaning free time. It's the freedom to make a decision on my terms. And then with all of that travel, leisure and things of that nature. So I decided to prioritize family, time, leisure, and freedom. And when I prioritize those things, I put a budget to them. Example, I want to take 2 big trips a year. Okay, I want to get my daughters, I want to have split custody. So that took more time. I want to have more time with friends. So I need to make more money to be able to do these type of things, because they're larger responsibilities. But if I keep them at the forefront of why I'm doing what I'm doing, that gave me a legit reason to actually do what I do today. So the byproduct of it is money now, but money's not at the front. When you put money at the front of your why, basically you're going to take any risk to get money, which could result in jail, bankruptcy, or bad decisions. But when you put your family, time, things that really mean a lot to you in front, that kind of changed me. So that's how I discovered my why.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you go from DJing, then what next? What led you? Tell us that journey of, was it her hair company first? You go through that situation that you went through, get robbed and go through that. You find out, man, I got to get these priorities in place. What was next? What started the entrepreneurship 2.0, where you start elevating yourself and seeing, more than just the DJ?
Gotcha. So I joined the military at the time to have insurance as an entrepreneur. Then I basically I was determined to basically work 5 nights a week. And I lowered my DJ prices, therefore I could be more flexible and get more gigs and scale my business. So when I did that, I achieved it. I saved my money up, and 2 years later, an idea was introduced to me about selling hair extensions. So when that idea was introduced to me, I basically tried to partner with the person, but there was a conflict of interest there. So I just decided to do it on my own. So I watched the movie Good Hair by Chris Rock. I watched the documentary. I probably watched it about 100 times, man. And so I decided to find everybody in that movie, man. So in 2011, I literally searched them for everybody through Alibaba, which is AliExpress today. And I knew a couple guys downtown Indianapolis that were doctors. They were Indian, but they were always in the clubs where I DJ'd. So I asked him, hey, what part of India do you stay in? He said, New Delhi. I needed to go to New Delhi. So when I got a visa, man, I went to India and I found everybody in the movie, man. So that's kind of like how that journey propelled, the 2.0 propelled. So I started Her Hair Company in 2012. And that first year we made about $250,000. Unmute yourself.
2012, 8 years later, you go from Her Hair Company, which
8 years later. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So what you've I've seen a lot of posts. You've had a lot of accolades. You've been recognized by Inc. 500. What are some other things that you've done to let's just jump right into business. We talked a little bit about we'll get back to that because I think all this intertwines and I want to touch a little bit more on it. But with the business with Her Hair Company, you find success in it. And a lot of people that get into business, and we both reference E-Myth Revisited, the book, often a lot on our pages, and I respect it. One of my favorite books, top 10 books that I love. I read it, I reread it or listen to it every year. And there's 3 levels to it. And a lot of people get stuck on the technician, right? That they get stuck in what I call, if you want to scale your business and really develop and grow, and not necessarily in multiple businesses, right? For you have the DJ, you had Her Hair Company, we're moving forward, and you have in real estate. But when I say scale, I'm not talking about growing different streams or different companies. I'm talking about scaling Her Hair Company from $1 to $1 million to where you are now. And so in order to do that, I believe, one, it doesn't take great people. A lot of people get stuck on trying to find great people. And I just believe, and it's just in my belief, and it's been drilled in my head, is that when a good person comes to me, and wants to work and do business with me, I didn't find them, they found me, right? And so it's very difficult at times to find great people to help you, grow your business. But when you do, it's great. But for us, for me and my friends, we had 18 retail stores. We had a lot of great people on our team. Don't get me wrong. We had 18 phone repair stores in Indiana and Michigan. It was very successful, and I loved it. It was a grind. Retail is brutal. I miss a little bit of it, but I don't miss a lot of it. But one of the things that I remember is that when we went to scale our doors from the 6 to doing 10 in a matter of a year and a half, 2 years, it was really about putting systems in place and processes in place that it didn't matter who came in the stores or in the business, they can run without great people because they were great systems. Yes. How does that relate for what you did in scaling from a business standpoint of growing and developing so that you as an entrepreneur and as a owner operator can work on the business versus in it? Explain that on the business versus in it as you discuss your scaling.
Gotcha. So as far as how I scale, and my technique to scale is pretty much the same every time. Referring to Her Hair Company, the first thing I did was acknowledge my weakness. I don't know anything about hair extensions in 2011. And so I hired a stylist to work 20 hours a week to, in essence, assist me. But the reality is I'm paying her to teach me. So that was the first piece. She had a decent business acumen that I was able to develop, so I was learning a system. I was able to share that system from day one. And since she was with me through day one, as I took more classes and educated myself, she took more classes and educated herself. Therefore, it became basically like 4 hands, 2 brains. And as you understand the E-Myth, basically you got a technician, entrepreneur, you have the manager entrepreneur, and you have the entrepreneur. So as a technician, the reason I feel that we struggle as entrepreneurs is because we want control and we don't work on trusting other people. Yes, people will fail us, but we have to learn that that's part of business. And then sometimes we have to look in the mirror and see how are we developing or how are we empowering in our team. So for the first year and a half, it was us two. And then as things started to grow in volume, we understood that we needed to grow into different positions. And so we made videos with Loom. So we basically documented every step of our growth to then be able to record it on the video in every step of every station. So if it was packing, we made a video. If it was, how to make outbound calls or receive inbound calls, it was a video. That allowed us to scale it. Therefore, when we trained somebody new, they came in and they just took a series of videos, as in contrast to me having to take my time and train somebody else. I kind of was able to maintain doing what I was doing. My assistant was able to manage the person, make sure that they were doing the tutorials and complete her job. So that was a way for us to scale by documenting the processes in our company, recording them, and being able to give them to everybody that was new to our company.
Gotcha. So, when you go to scale and you're investing, how are you finding the right fit, right? Because everybody, for me, when I'm hiring people, I refuse to hire family and friends. That's just me.
Woo! I've done that. So finding the right people, I don't think that there's a skill set for that. As you said, I've made Inc. 500 3 times in 16, 17, and 18. So the Inc. 500 list is basically a consumption of entrepreneurs, the 500 fastest growing entrepreneurs in the country, in North America. We all had the same issue. As we were trying to grow and scale our companies, it was hard to find the talent. So you really got to take that Bill Belichick approach where you create the system that is pretty much flawless or fits your need, and it could be, you could replace people and nothing, the bucks doesn't stop. You know what I mean? I could replace this person, put a new person in, within a week they're trained and they can execute the same way, just because it's kind of like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It still can get challenging because as you're growing, things are changing. So you have new positions, you have different visions, things change. Like you said, e-commerce and retail, can turn into pivot, like with the pandemic, retail's hurt. So you got to adapt. So, managing the evolution can be tough, but, learning how to put together systems is really the way to grow. And that's a huge opportunity for us as entrepreneurs. I think that we're so caught up in selling the product. We actually need to create apps that connect the businesses to business or businesses to consumers, as a contrast to, just always having to be in the mix of the sale. We need to expand on that, but that's how I did it, man.
Nice. All right. So her hair company's thriving. You build a good team. It's doing good things. Where did the real estate come in?
Gotcha.
And why? Why real estate? Why another thing when her hair company's doing well?
Got you. So I'm gonna be honest with you. It's always been a passion, to create. And so real estate was actually like something I want to do. But at the end of the day, her hair company is where I make my money at. So, I always tell people, don't lose your gift pursuing your passion. So I actually put real estate in the back burner. In 2008, I was actually going to get my realtor's license, but, the economy collapsed. That being stated, again, don't lose your gift pursuing your passion. So I stuck with her hair company strong for the first 3 or 4 years. And I just had an abundance of cash and it was just sitting. So idle money is basically, going negative, so I don't really care about how much money I make. I care about the velocity of money. The money sitting, that's a problem. So, why real estate? It's an engine, it's a retirement engine. So, I don't believe in what's the word I'm looking for? I don't believe in net worth. I don't really care what my net worth is, because to have a net worth, you have a solid amount of assets. But the reality is that life has a bunch of liabilities that we come with. You know what I mean? So if I saved up $500,000 to retire, but my cost of living is $50,000 a year, my retirement fund is gone in 10 years. I started focusing on cash flow. So that's a different equation. So now you got income and expenses. So if I retire, I own my home, I own my cars, I only have utilities, I don't have any kids, and my expenses are minimal, but my income is great forever, then I don't really care about my net worth. So cash flow is cash flow to me is king. That being stated, rental properties can bring me cash flow for long terms. And I earned a lot through rental properties. So not just cash flow, but I earned equity, I earned tax deductions, I earned appreciation, and obviously cash flow. So I earned 4 ways. So that's why real estate.
I like this. With real estate, man, it's crazy. We could potentially, and I don't think we will, but there's always that what if 2008, 2009 comes back around for the real estate, industry, where things are not as great as they once were. We're dealing with COVID-19 still. How has that affected you and your business? Both businesses, the retail, obviously with her hair company, that is also e-commerce, so people can actually go. If there's any ladies that's watching or you listening later on, check out her hair company. It's herhaircompany.com. I'll go ahead and put the plug in there, and we'll add all that to that as well. You can social media, Instagram, Facebook page as well. Go support this great man, but. How has this affected you? Because COVID-19 is something that we've not, experienced in our life. We experienced 2008 and the economy dropping and all that, but this is a different type of monster. How have you been able to adapt and then as an entrepreneur, not worry about now and looking to what's next and preparing for when we get out of this situation?
Hey, bro, you gonna make me cuss you out. You trying to get me to tell you basically all my secrets and mess. But it's all good, though. You know what I mean? I'm for the people, though, so no problem. So, man, I'm going to be honest with you. It was rough. It was rough, and it's been rough. So this is why. My audience ranges anywhere between 18 all the way to 60, but my primary audience is between 18 to 28. And so when the pandemic, when we were locked in at first, there was not a lot of purchasing. People were panicking. Basically, they didn't know. And so hair is an accessory. It's not a necessity. Therefore, we're not at the priority list, especially when our median price point being $250. So, that's kind of like a luxury. So I was SOL for that for a moment. But what happened, I would say about 3 weeks into lockdown, was there was no beauty supply stores. There was no way for them to purchase their hair down the street. Therefore, sales started to climb up. But the big hurt happened because we make about 30 to 40% of our income during tax season. Our revenue, I'm sorry. So, the pandemic hit at the end of February, early March. So when that was happening, basically the scare that everybody had definitely affected us, in the sense of we weren't getting that large, lump sum of purchases because everybody was spending it on essential things. So that definitely hurt. But like I said, as of late, with all the beauty supplies being closed and things of that nature, I think that things have been picking back up. But we missed that window, like I said, where we make about 30 to 40% of our revenue. So we definitely were affected by it. It's just something that you got to kind of like navigate. So your second part of your question was like, how are you evolving it? Her hair company, how are we evolving that? Basically, today we now have where you could do a drive-by and pick it up. So you pay for your order, and then we'll just basically take it out to you. Therefore, we don't have a lobby full of customers. The salon is not operating. I have a salon on the first floor. So I am missing the revenue from the booth rentals that we have, and we have 5 chairs. So that's a big loss. When it comes to real estate, unconventional lenders, so the lenders that I use are no longer lending. So I have not been able to purchase real estate with other people's money. I've been having to purchase real estate with my money, which basically slows down how fast I can move. Because when I'm using other people's money, I could have 5, 6, 7, 8 projects. When I'm using my money, I'm more limited to, 2 or 3. Unfortunately, I have not been able to purchase. And, there is an uncertainty with real estate coming up. So, there'll be more foreclosures. There'll be more, tax liens and things of that nature due to all the unemployment that we're currently under. But I'm so sorry to interject.
Go ahead.
You asked me what's the next move, man. I let you in the secret, man. I let y'all in the secret. So what I've been kind of observing is that the retail market has been going down. The retail market has been going down to me, this is opinion based because of Amazon Prime. So what does Amazon Prime provide for us? It provides for us the ability for the Chinese and or Mexicans who produce parts and labor and all of that at a way lower cost. So it allows them direct access to the American consumer without the consumer having to wait 10 days to receive it from China or Mexico or go through customs. We no longer have that. We have Prime where we get it next day or even in some cases same day. You're getting lower price points because there's no middleman. We're typically with middlemen, we're white labeling things. So now they're getting direct access at cheap. The consumer's getting direct access at cheaper prices. There's free returns, and it's just like that easy. Amazon has really been destroying retail in a tremendous way. So we at I can't tell you the company name yet, but we have been working on a subscription model. So I've been working on finding something that for the consumer to solve a problem, obviously, that I could put on a subscription model. And it's difficult, but it's the new wave. The reason I say that is because I won't be dependent of a supplier, and I won't be having to ship. So employment and shipping costs are some of my largest expenses. That being stated, if I could find something that I could put on a subscription model where I only have to produce it once and continue to duplicate it. In some cases, education. You know what I mean? I can make a video, teach, sell it. If I sell a video for $2.99 on how to, sell houses or buy houses, for really cheap, if I sold that video, if I made a new video every month, just for the subscription, for the purposes of the subscription, I would be basically making $3 every month. If I had 100,000 people to purchase the video at $2.99 every month, I'll basically make it $300,000, minus the expenses to operate. So I am working on a subscription model in order to be able to evolve during a time where brick and mortar may not survive. That was long, but I'm sorry.
No, we got the time, and that's good. So I want to rewind. You talked about using other people's money to scale, and I know that's on the real estate model. Let's break that down for people, and then you got something else to correct me. Go ahead and correct me.
So I actually learned private money lending on the real estate side, right?
Right.
My first 2 years at her hair company, I was only doing like $250,000. But I learned how to present a private credibility packet. So when I created my credibility packet, just to show basically my profit and loss statement, my projections, new products that are coming to be introduced, things we're working on, I basically applied it to her hair company. And so I gave it to my accountant, and my accountant said, I may have a few people that are interested, but do you have any collateral? I said, I don't own shit. So then he basically is like, well, you need to find some collateral in order for somebody to give you the loan. So what do I mean by that? Basically, when somebody gives you a loan, you need something for them to be tangible for them to take if you don't pay back the loan. So I literally told Lathan is my best friend if you don't know who that is, hey, I'm about to call my mama and see if she give me her house so that I could go ahead and borrow this $100,000. I could get this money. So I called her and I said, hey, Mom, can I get your house for collateral? And she was just like, you must be out your mind. But if my house get taken, I'm coming to live with you. Man, she gave me the house, man. A guy gave me $100,000 every 6 months for 8%. So I was basically paying $8,000 for the loan. What I would do, man, I would flip that $100,000 like 5-6 times. That took her hair company from being a $250,000 company to a $2.2 million company. Then it went to 4.8, 5.5, 6.5. So that's how I really scaled my company, by borrowing other people's money.
So in scaling and measuring that up, and we're just talking about people buying hair, women and or men. No judgment there on who needs the hair. What's next for her hair company as you envision the next thing, right? For us, when we had the retail stores, we knew the ultimate goal was to sell. At some point in time, we were going to sell those retail doors. Partners, they in our ownership, there's other multiple businesses that were started from that as well. Once we sold our stores, I got into marketing and consulting and doing that with one of my friends. And that was just kind of a passion. My passion has always been to really just build leaders, grow leaders, and help grow businesses in general. So where do you see your company from the retail standpoint? You talked about the subscription model as well, but where do you see her hair company going as it continues to scale upwards? What's that $10 million, $20 million step?
Ooh, that'll be tough.
Without giving all the ingredients to your competitors.
That's no big deal, man. So I see that to be very difficult, just kind of with how retail is working. What's really beneficial to us, though, is that we have a brick and mortar. So hair is kind of like a thing that when you need it, you need it. So we have that accessibility here in Indianapolis. So I think the brick and mortar for us is key. But to be honest with you, this is the future of her hair company. I see myself. I haven't been to her hair company, the office building, no more than 4 times in the last 6 weeks. But my assistant and one of our teammates are there, and so we did have to lay off a couple people, unfortunately, just to kind of make sure that everything is cool and allow the government to pay them versus me. But this is where I do see it. I do see myself selling it to my employees. And allowing myself to take that lump sum to invest in the real estate and into my next endeavor. And if I cannot sell it to her in lump sum because she doesn't have the money, I will put her on a payment plan where it may be a 5-year payment plan where I'm still earning from her hair company, but she's basically leasing to own it.
Gotcha.
And that's what I do see it as.
Nice. So successful in the retail, successful in e-com, successful in the real estate. It's always fun to talk about success. But we often don't get to see the hardships, the stumbling blocks, the failures that people who are hugely successful have experienced. Right? We got cousins that come out of the woodwork when you get successful. You got family members that need to borrow some money, and they don't understand. It may look like I got money and I'm doing well for myself, but my money is invested in something else. It's always moving. And they don't see the struggle, man. They think entrepreneurship is this, and it's all kind of chaos. It's ups, downs, and a lot more downs than it is ups at times. And so tell me, I want to know Eric Armstrong's biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Got you. My biggest failure is not having a mentor when I started her hair company. The reason I say that is because I've probably lost more money than I've made at her hair company, and I've earned a lot through her hair company. In the last 8 years, we've sold over $29 million in hair extensions. But when not having a mentor, I was testing a lot of things. I was trying a lot of things. I was, I called it my cost of education, all my mistakes and all my errors. And when you make a mistake in retail, it just costs. There's no free mistakes. Not having a mentor was a huge failure. The next thing I would say too is just a lack of knowledge. I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I knew nothing about Google Analytics. So Google Analytics, if you have access to it and you sign up for an account, you could go to Keyword Planner, and that's something that anybody could do that wants to start a business. You go to Keyword Planner, and basically you could go in there and type in Brazilian hair extensions, and it'll tell you the demand for it every month, every day, and so forth. So example, Brazilian hair extensions at the time was searched like 64,000 times a month. Then Malaysian hair was searched 18,000 times a month. Then Peruvian hair, 10,000. So a lot of people go into the hair extension business and people like myself and say, hey, I want to sell Peruvian hair. because everybody sells Brazilian hair, but everybody sells Brazilian hair for a reason because there's a demand. So not knowing about Keyword Planner, you know, kind of hurt just because I was actually targeting the right area, but I wasn't hitting the dead center. And so it took me a little bit to refine and align my company to then hit the dead center. And that's when we started having success. So before starting a business, I always recommend people to search the demand. Sometimes people want to be new, but maybe your idea is just customized to you. We need to work on understanding the demand for a product or a problem in order to really be successful or have an opportunity to penetrate and cause disruption.
That's good. You said something that sparked my interest, and that's mentor. I believe everyone should have somebody that one, whether it's a mentor, you want to call them a life coach, or the consulting word. I hate the word consulting. Consulting, by the way, although I said that I consult. Consulting is for two people. Person ain't got a job. Number two, it's for people that think they know something, in hopes that somebody buys into what they know and invest in it. But for me, I love to mentor. I love to coach people and empower them, help develop their gifts. Who were the most influential people in your life that were there? Give me one person who was there, but you did not realize their influence on where you were going. And then give me one or two people that have come along the way that has pushed you, that has pissed you off, that has, made you wake up earlier than you wanted to or stay up later than you wanted to because they knew that you had more to give and help you develop. 3 people, somebody that you did not know that was influential in your life in that process, and then 2 people who come along your journey in the last, 8 to 9 years.
Wow. That's a big question. So I'm not gonna talk about business on this, but the most influential person in my life is my track coach. I was arrested for just dumb shit when I was young, whether it's petty crimes or whatever. And so I remember he was trying to recruit me to run track, and I had like a 4.3. I was like a sophomore, but I was playing baseball and basketball. And he basically was just on my tail, and he was coming to my job, and I was dodging him, and I was being a knucklehead, man, in and out of trouble. Grades weren't that good. So he sat me down and said, just try it. So I tried it. I did well. I actually enjoyed it because I was solely responsible for my decisions or my work at that time, my work. And so I liked that. Then, as I evolved, the next year, I made it to state, and I was varsity. Then my senior year, I won a couple of state championships with my teammates, and I made it to Indiana All-Star. But he just taught me a lot of hard work and dedication, and that's something that I think today I still carry. I wake up every day at 5 o'clock, man, and work out, and it's easy just because of my why. You know what I'm saying? So I treat life like a race, man. And I ran the 400, and I'm only 5'7", but I ran a 4.78 as my fastest time. And everybody that runs that race typically a little bit taller. Most people taller, I guess, than 5'7", but you get the point. So I say that to say this, man. The race is really mental. It's strategic. It's not a 100-meter race. So there's stages to the race, and there's elements that you have to take your mind into. So going through business, understanding that when I'm feeling that lactic acid, I'm cramping up and I'm fatigued and I got to push through, that's when I like it, because we all feeling that pain. But just back then I used to be like, this is where the men are made. And at the end of the day, I just feel like, my trials and tribulations, what I got to push through. And that's when I'm made. So I'm not defined by Inc. 500, the last few years. I'm defined by how I make it through this pandemic. That would define kind of who I am. But that mindset came from coach. Somebody who I hated, who I was ready to beat Lathan ass. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Just like words bond. Like Lathan and I started a hair company. So when I started my hair company in 2012, I was so excited. I never seen money like that before. outside of hustling, like legal. Like I'm like, man, this shit is legit. This is real. Like, ooh, I got something. So I told my brother, it's my brother. Hey, come on, man. Let's start something. I'll give you my plug. I just want to see you get on. Just give me 50% and I'll give you everything I got. You can come work in my office. And so we did that, man. We opened a company called Version Hair Fix. You know what I'm saying? And it was slow motion. Lathan was working at FedEx at the time at night shift, and he'd come in the morning. You know what I'm saying? He was doing a lot. Lathan's always doing a lot. So I signed this contract, man, because Lathan and I didn't have enough money to market that company. So I signed a contract that had a tough contingency if we backed out. And so the company made $17,000 2 years in a row. And Lathan had to quit because he lost his job, so he couldn't support the company. And when he made the decision to, back out the company at that time because he had to go take care of, himself, it cost me $90,000. And so I really had to work on myself. I really had to deliver tough talks with respect. With tact. And it was like I felt like I was robbed. I felt like I was giving my brother opportunity, and that's how you do me. That's how I was playing victim. And I had to realize that I had to quit playing victim and own it just as much. And so we talked it out, tough talks. I don't take credit for it. That man came to me and talked it out too. And we came to a medium. And so when we came to a medium, Lathan agreed to pay me back 50%. Lathan paid me for 3 straight years a monthly payment. And he was only, 3 years into a 10-year situation. And he helped me mature so much as a businessman that I valued our friendship, and I was okay financially that I just told Lathan he didn't have to make any more payments to me. And we forfeited that situation. But I had to grow. I had to put things past money. And so, so that was big. Last but not least, as far as I have a huge appreciation for Than Merrill, Paul Isagian, and all those guys at Fortune Builders. Their lifestyles and their systems are amazing. To add, they're so humble. You know what I'm saying? And they're all worth 90 to 100 million each, but they still take the time out to kind of like drop jewels on you. So I hope to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hope to be them. I hope to be my version for the culture. But I love that about them. I aspire to be like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to inspire is one of the greatest acts. So I just try to do it in my own way. And that's it.
Nice. So don't want to keep you too much longer. I want to wrap up with a couple more questions though. I'm all about, I'm partnered with my mentor, Ryan McCarty. Him and his partner wrote, Scott Moorhead, they wrote a book about 3 years ago called How to Build a Culture of Good. And it was built around Scott Moorhead owned TCC, Wireless owned Verizon stores. And so they built this culture essentially internally within their TCC doors. And it was about building, doing good, and taking that 501c3, that nonprofit mindset into the corporate world. So everything that I do, and want to do in life is striving to impact others, doing good and being good, and bringing the good to others. What are some things that you do? Because I know that you've done some partnerships in the past for holidays and things of that nature. What are some things that you do to impact your community? Because we came essentially from the same neighborhood. We went to, for those who don't know, went to the same high school. Essentially knuckleheads at the same time. I went off one end. I kind of, jumped ship real quickly. When I hit my crossroads in life, I actually went straight out of high school into ministry school and did 14 years as a pastor. before I got into this corporate world, which is totally different. You know, the corporate world, you can fire people. At the church, you're begging for volunteers to stay. So it's a different lifestyle. But where I'm at today, man, it's still about giving back. You know, whether that's, you know, not necessarily always through finances. I don't think finances is the only way you can give back. I think your greatest resource is your time. So giving somebody your time, something you can't get back or earn back, right? I can earn the money. That's nothing. But what can I give you with my time and influence? What are some things that your company is very passionate about doing and giving back that you've done in the past and you guys always look forward to doing every year?
Got you. So at her hair company, we typically do what's called a 12 Days of Christmas. We used to publicly like do it with 96.3. Shout out to Jason Hunt on my Instagram. But what we used to do is for 12 days, December 1st to the 12th, we basically would give out about $300 to help people pay their bills. Some years we gave out $250 worth of hair each day. So we picked a new winner every day. Then we would have a grand prize winner where we may give them $500 and a TV, things of that nature. So that would typically be what we did. But here the last 2 years, I've kind of like did something a little bit different. So I usually select about 3 families, and basically I take the time out to actually go, you know, just say, hey, submit me some families. And when they submit the families to me, I basically go out there and take care of 3 families. Me, my kids, and my coworkers and friends have done it before. And we go out and we, on Christmas Day, after I'm done with my kids, after we're done with family time, we literally go out, and whether they've been in hotels, and I've seen 6 to a studio motel, whatever situation they're in, we just try to come and deposit some smiles. You know what I'm saying? So we just come with gifts for everybody, and try to make somebody smile that day. So that's been, since I changed it to now personally doing. I'll be honest with you, we all get a sense of gratification. At the same time, I get to pay it forward to my kids. They get to see me not just talk shit, but be about mine, and walk the walk. So it's just been something I enjoy doing. So we do that. Something I don't ever say, but I'll give you the in scoop on it though. If you ever got a chance to sit with me for an hour, so that means that we're sitting together for an hour, we either eating, drinking, having a cigar, or we have time. I try to ensure that I share something that you can relate to that will empower you. I feel like, I've been blessed financially, and I've been blessed with a bunch of mentors and a bunch of experiences. More importantly, I'm not just reading books and handing it over. I've been through some shit. So I feel like to share my downs and or positives is my biggest gift. And so I like to share with people if I can relate to whatever situation they're going through to help them become, victorious in it. So if you sat down with me for about an hour, I guarantee that I made that attempt. You know what I mean? So I just do that daily. So that's not something that's timed. That's just something when I see my heart, when I feel like doing it in my heart. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. So that leaves me, I'm going to go ahead and just go to my last question because you said something and I want it. When people are with you, and I think it's important, as we talk about, being the change, and that's kind of the focus of this podcast is how are you being a change and bringing that change to yourself, your family, and your community. That's life, leadership, and business. What advice would you give someone? And I've been sitting with you for almost an hour now. So what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours, or just want to get into their own, version of entrepreneurship, whether it's, it could be something totally different. It could be, selling jars or creating a new candle. What advice would you give George if I'm saying, Eric, man, I've just spent an hour with you. I've learned a lot. I've heard your story. I've seen your success. You shared some failures, but I need one more advice before I leave you that's going to help me along my journey as I start from this foundational standpoint. What advice do you give me?
Can I give you a few?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so information is the new currency. You know what I mean? Information is cash. But the information I'm talking about is not on Google, it's not on YouTube. Everybody will give you information that can stimulate, but not everybody can give you information that's going to open doors. And so the information to open doors is are is typically behind a gentleman with experience or a lady with experience. That being stated, invest in the people. Relationships are the key to life. And the next thing I would say is be the measuring stick of excellence. So many of us watch the next person. The way I say Dan Merrill, he's worth 90 million or this and that. But the truth is, like he's his own, he's his own measuring stick. He's his own standard. So for me, I just desire to be a measuring stick of excellence for my children, for my generation, for my legacy, for my family. And so what that does for me, man, is remove comparison and contrast. It allows me just to look at myself and then develop myself and make myself my own competition, as in contrast to comparing and saying, oh, well, he got or he did or he that. I don't worry about the next man. I just say, hey, how can I get better? And that's by continuing to be the best version of myself. But I just say, I just need to raise my measuring stick a little higher.
Nice. Good stuff, man. I appreciate it. And I want to challenge everybody out there. Listen, you're listening to two men who were once boys that, perception versus our reality now looks totally different. I will say for myself, if you told me, 21, 23 years ago, 25 years ago, that I'll be sitting here speaking to Eric, and we both will be living outside of where we came from, successful in our own means versus, compared to, things that were spoken over us, things that were spoken to us. We both had teachers who obviously influenced us. Mine at Ben Davis was Mr. Bishop. He's the one that really calmed me down my junior year. I had no clue what I was going to do in my life. I was just living to get out of school and had no direction. And my junior year, he sat me down and forced me to play chess. This is our vocational. So our senior year, 2000, Ben Davis was nothing but construction until our graduation night. It was horrible. But our junior year, he set me down and he says, I want you to understand this game. Man, I knew how to play checkers. I had no clue about chess.
Right.
And that lesson taught me a valuable thing, and it lives with me today. Any of my managers that I ever hired or anybody that I've ever interviewed, they say that I always ask this one question. I'm going to ask it to you here in a second. But I relate it to where I was, all the way up to my junior year life. My junior year life through kindergarten was nothing but checkers. It was quick. It was easy. I did simple things. Chess was strategy. It was long term. It was thinking next step and then some. What's going to happen? What's my defense? What's my offense? And Mr. Bishop really changed my life because he made me and forced me to think outside of my reality. It wasn't about where I was now on the chessboard. It was about where I was going to be next, and then what happens after that. And so, I think about, man, I'm grateful. I follow you. I'm a fan. I appreciate the success. Your success challenged me. I'll never be up to your wardrobe status. I can't have the hats, I don't have the belts, the shoes, but I try every once in a while. But I think and there's more to us. Man, we got Jeff Stone, Jay Douglas, a lot of people in our class that you saying, man, we're all in a great place. I would have been like, there ain't no way we all sitting at a table of success that can afford to fly where we want to or take our family and provide more than we have, triple down, quadruple down. I'm trying to get up to your 5x, 5x, 10x living. I'm trying.
I like that though. Yeah, I'm like 3x. I'm not 10.
We're getting there. But I want to say this, man. I appreciate your grind, your hustle. I respect everything that you've done. And I wish nothing but blessings on you for the future. of everything that you touch and everything that you speak into existence. So keep on striving. But before I get out of here, 2 questions. If we were to sit down and play a game of chess or checkers, which one would it be and why?
Ooh, so you got me beat because I don't know how to play chess.
Ooh,
I mean,
got him. Gotcha. Question number two, be the change. Finish that sentence.
Ooh, brain freeze, be the change that you want to see.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everybody joining us. I appreciate Eric for his time. And until next time, everybody be blessed. Eric, before we get off of here, let everybody know where they can find Her Hair Company. And if they're looking, do you have rentals? Some of the real estate, how can they find you, connect with you on social media, website?
Got you. To get to my LinkedIn, all you got to do is go to ericarmstrong.com. If you type in ericarmstrong.com, it's going to take you to my LinkedIn, so we could connect that way on a personal level. Her Hair Company is obviously, you could look up, our website, herhaircompany.com. And there you could find anything that you need or contact us. As far as Sandcastle, I have 3 projects currently going. I will have a rental in Calston, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath available. I have one in Warren Township I'm working on now. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then I have another project coming up near 2 projects coming. Sorry, I got 4. 2 projects near East Side that I'm actually going to flip. So those projects I'm designing, so I don't have specs on those. But if you ever have a question, you can take my phone number down. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. My number is 317-750-8861. Don't call me asking me about how can I get into real estate. Go take some classes first. When you get stuck in class, I could help you get past the bumps. But I'm not going to help. I support. I don't really help. Because if I help, I have to go back. If I support, I'm pushing forward. So I'm pushing you forward and I'm pushing myself forward. By teaching you, I have to be a master. And by supporting somebody else, I'm paving it forward. So yeah, you can call me 317-750-8861. And that's it for me.
That's awesome. All right, everybody. And make sure you understand it's Eric with a K, ERICK, Armstrong.com.
Yeah, good catch. Yeah, good catch. You sound like me.
I got to look out for you, man. So I appreciate you. And until next time, everybody, stay tuned. Be the change.
Cool.